my learned disability really empowered my perseverance and my grit to keep going. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Desiree, and if you are new here, thank you for stopping by. I greatly appreciate it. In today's video, I'm going to be discussing my experience in navigating life with a learning disability. And of course, if you're new to my channel, I have a whole video going into great detail about when I was diagnosed with a learning disability, my testimony when it comes to being diagnosed with a learning disability and just struggling in school from like kindergarten all the way up to college, and just how I was able to overcome and just continue to keep going despite having so many academic challenges along the way. So if you haven't checked that video, definitely check out my storytime video where I go a little more in depth, and then come back over to this video if you want to get a little more insight on how I'm able to navigate life with a learning disability. I'm 27 years old, and so I've been living with a disability like my whole life, and so there's some things that I have learned along the way, and I definitely feel like me sharing kind of what I've been able to kind of overcome, I feel like it's going to help other folks, especially folks who have a learning disability or physical disability, just struggling, just trying to navigate life, and they're different. So I want to go ahead and get a little bit into that in this video. So I'm first going to recap a little bit of my story time video where I talk a little more in depth about my experience with my learning disability and my whole academic career. I'm just going to do a short recap on this video just to save some time, especially for folks who are new to my channel and did not watch that video. So I was diagnosed with a learning disability in the first grade. My kindergarten teacher actually noticed that I was a little behind when it came to catching on to reading and simple math problems. So I had some delays when it came to kind of my learning as early as kindergarten. And so my kindergarten teacher really noticed that, and she did mention it to my parents. And then when I got to the first grade, that's when my first grade teacher was like, yeah, I think she might need to be tested for a learning disability because she's having some issues. As a little girl, I knew I was behind because I would see like my peers like get things so easily, and then I'm over here like, teacher, can you repeat that? Because I didn't get what you were saying. I didn't get it. I didn't get the whole lesson. So since my first grade teacher recommended that I get tested for a learning disability so I can start getting accommodations and help, my parents set up a testing exam, I think on campus at my school. And yeah, I was diagnosed with a learning disability. Specifically, I didn't know what type of learning disability I had until like years later. I was diagnosed with auditory processing, and with basically auditory processing, I'm going to put the actual definition on the screen. So because right now it's kind of like blinking off my head, but basically auditory processing is a very common learning disability, and a lot of folks have that type of learning disability when they're growing up because they're just not catching on or processing as quickly as their peers or as other folks in the class. So it's a really common learning disability, and of course I feel like my learning disability is a little complex and different because as I got older, yes, I was diagnosed with auditory processing, but then there were certain subjects and certain areas where I really excelled at and my brain just really got. And when I was retested, it was kind of like an update IEP. I think when I was in college, I think it was like my sophomore year, right before I transferred to UC San Diego, I got tested again because I needed an updated IEP and accommodations. And for some reason, or not for some reason, but basically there was in that test, I forgot the specific test that I took, that I was not doing. I definitely have a disability in like certain areas, right? Like math is not my strong suit, and there was like different subject areas, right? However, I excelled in one part of the test where it was extremely complex. So there's like basic things that my brain couldn't process, which is like sad to say, but there's like real complex things on that test that my brain can interpret and process and that I can figure out. So the psychologists are like, yeah, the psychologist, our testing lady, said I'm really unique because my brain can decipher really hard and complex problems and different things like that, but there's certain like real simple things that my brain don't get or something like that. I'm very unique in my learning style. Like my brain can interpret and process things different compared to other people. So it's not like your typical person where I can process just like really easy things and maybe not so hard complex things. When the psychologist told me that, I said, I'm weird? Like, is something wrong with me because like I process information differently or not like the normal person? And she said, no, I'm actually not strange or weird. She said, I just have a different learning style and I just process things differently. And she said, over the years, I have learned how to navigate and manage the way I learn. That is an incredible skill to have because you had to learn that because your brain is process things differently compared to other people. And she said basically that's what having a learning disability is. She said, you know, it just means another way of processing things different compared to the masses. When the lady explained that to me and like broke it down, it made me feel so good because for years I felt like having a disability has such like a, you know, it was like a dark cloud over my head because I'm like, oh, I'm super different, I'm weird, I'm strange, you know, something is wrong with me. And when she broke it down and really explained to me like how my brain work or kind of just like what she said, I just never thought about it in that way. And so ever since she explained that to me, my whole perspective on having a learning disability has definitely changed. And I think over the years, I have definitely learned how to navigate my learning disability. My learning disability really empowered my perseverance and my grit to keep going. I had to work hard. I had to put in the work. I had to put in overtime than other people around me so I can do well because my brain don't process things as easy as other people. And so I learned that navigating a learning disability is extremely difficult and not everybody is like me when it comes to having grit, having perseverance. When I was first diagnosed with a learning disability, I had no drive, I had no perseverance, I didn't feel empowered. I was like a little girl. I didn't even know what half of these things were like happening to me. I was like so confused. On top of being diagnosed with a learning disability, I was diagnosed with scoliosis. I had chronic scoliosis, which means the rapid curvature of my spine. When I was 8 years old, I ended up having back surgery when I was 10. So I was going through a lot. I was going through a lot at a young age. And so growing up, when I was first diagnosed with learning disability, what motivation, what empowerment, what grit. I didn't have none of that. In the beginning of being diagnosed with a learning disability, I had to learn like, what is my learning style? Like, what is the best way for me to learn so that I understand the materials, subjects, English, math, like what is the best learning style for me so I'm able to persevere with this disability. My advice to folks who are having a hard time navigating life with a learning disability and when I say navigating life, this can be finding a job or navigating school, or maybe you're in college or you're in high school and you're trying to navigate all the ebbs and flows of life with a learning disability. I will first, you know, if you don't know this already, maybe you do, you do know your learning style, but if you don't know your learning style, figure out what is the best learning method for you. And when I say learning style, I'm more so like saying what is your routine, your study routine, your learning routine. Like, I know for me, when I was in middle school and high school, I knew that it took me longer to understand things. So I would put in a lot more work when it came to reading or going over a lesson. So my learning style was going over things 3 or 4 times until I get it. That means after school, going over a lesson that the teacher already went over, going over a lesson multiple times, reading things over and over again until I get it. So for me, my learning style was repetition, and my learning style was having time to review things like over and over again. So I would use the weekend as my time to kind of review things and go over problems or things I didn't understand, and then I would write out questions so then I can go to the teacher and or the professor. I did this in college when I did not understand something. So my number one advice to folks who are struggling navigating life with a learning disability is to first figure out your learning style. And once I figured out my learning style, I definitely felt a lot more confident in my ability to do well and to succeed. So that is like my number one advice to folks who are struggling when it comes to just navigating life with a learning disability. So along with figuring out my learning style throughout the years, it definitely helped me having a strong support system. If I didn't have my parents supporting me, I would not be where I'm at today. Like, okay, I would not be where I'm at today, y'all. And I'm really blessed. Like, part of my success and when it came to navigating my life thus far with a disability has been because I have a strong support system. My parents have been so supportive along the way in every aspect of my life, especially when it came to my academic career and my, struggling in school. My parents have been an advocate for me, like, truly. And I know for a lot of other people, they don't have support system. Maybe you don't have a strong support system, and I know that can be really difficult. And I'm just really blessed, like, to say I had a support system and still have a support system. And I think my second advice to anybody who is struggling navigating a life with a learning disability is to research on some different support groups. So if you are a college student or maybe you're in high school, see if your campus have like a disability support services or support group, so then you can be in community with other folks who have a disability, so you don't feel so alone, and that you can talk to other people who are going through the same things that you're going through and struggling with. So definitely, looking around at your resources. So definitely doing your research and looking around to see, okay, what can I do, or where can I go to get support for what I'm going through. And maybe you have graduated college and you are in the real world, you are an adult with a learning disability, and you're like, I'm not gonna have no college campus support. I highly recommend that you either look into the Department of Rehabilitation in the state that you live in. For the U.S., we have this great source called Department of Rehabilitation Services, which helps adults with learning disabilities get jobs, do vocational and technical programs. So they're just like extra support. So I highly recommend, if you are an adult with a learning disability and you still feel like you're struggling and you need support, I highly recommend that you check out the Department of Rehabilitation in the specific state that you live in. Now, for other countries, I'm not quite sure how it works. Like if you're in Europe or Canada and you're looking for services as an adult with a disability, not quite sure, but Google is our best friend, y'all. Google is free, so definitely use Google to kind of research some different services and resources that you can get as an adult with a learning disability. So I highly recommend you all do that, and just definitely do your research how you can gain support and resources. So a huge part of me being successful in navigating my life with a learning disability has been really not focusing on what other people think of me. Like, I used to be so worried about what people are going to say and think about me if I told them, or if folks found out I have a learning disability. I was so worried, y'all. Growing up, especially in middle school and high school, and even when I started community college, I was really like, oh, no one can know, child. This has to be a best kept secret. People cannot know I have a disability. People are going to judge me. They're going to do this. They're going to say this about me. And once I got to community college, like literally, I think it was like my first year of my second semester, and I realized that no one's checking for me. No one is no one cares. No one is like looking at me different because I have a disability. And if they do, they, you know, they're playing it off really good poker face, because no one is coming up to me and saying like, oh, Desiree, I don't want to be your friend because you have a disability, or I think you're really weird and you're not cool because you have a disability. No one has ever came up to me and told me that. Maybe they told me that in elementary or something. I don't remember. But no one has ever told me that. And so as I got older, I was like, no one is looking at me. No one cares. Okay? Everyone out here has their own things that they're trying to work through and going through, and no one is really checking if I have a disability or not. So as I got older, I'm like, I don't care anymore. I release what people think about me, what if people find out, what they might say or how they might view me. And so that was holding me down so much growing up, because I cared what other people thought about me. But now, y'all, first of all, I'm in my late 20s. I really don't care. When I say I do not care what people think about me, I have been set free from people's opinions and what they think about me. And so I think if you are someone with a learning disability who is struggling with thinking about and caring about what people think about you, you have to work on that. You have to identify and really sit down with yourself and say, why do I care what people think about me? Like, if this person think of something different about me because they found out I have a disability, is my life going to change? Am I going to pass out? Am I going to die because they think whatever about me? No. And I think one of the key things for me being able to move forward and to push forward despite all my obstacles and challenges in school and just in life is not really caring about what people think about me, but caring about what God thinks about me. If you're new to my channel, I'm a Christian. I believe in the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, and the only person that I care about who thinks about me is God. That's it. That is it. Because at the end of the day, we're just here for a little while. We're not here for a long time, if you know what I'm saying. And so I really want to encourage you all, or anybody who is struggling with a learning disability, to not care what other people think about you, and not put your worth in what others think about you, say about you, view about you, because at the end of the day, no one is perfect. No one have it figured out. Not to compare your life to other people who don't have a disability, because they don't know the challenges and the struggles that you face. So just making sure that you are checking yourself and not allowing yourself to compare yourself to so many people that you see online, or even me. Don't compare yourself to nobody. Just focus on where you're at in your life, and focus on how you can better yourself to reach your personal goals, okay? So one of the things that have really helped me when it came to navigating my life with a learning disability has been networking. Networking, and networking. And also, networking is super important. Even if you don't have a disability, you should be networking in all areas of your life, especially in your career, in your academic career, or whatever. So, but networking is huge and key. And as someone who struggled in school, who, you know, it takes longer for me to get things done or to interpret things, or it's just a whole lot when it comes to just my brain and everything growing up, especially in college. I realized, I was like, okay, I got to start networking with folks. So the key thing that I have learned in my journey with having a disability is that networking is going to really benefit in my favor, because with networking, gain more resources. I'm able to get the help I need. I'm able to be directed to the right person to get the help that I need to get to where I'm trying to go. And in community college, I was using all the resources. That's another thing. Addition to networking, also utilizing your resources. So that's advice number 4 or 5. I don't know what advice number I'm on, but resources and networking. And so by me utilizing resources when I was in college and in grad school, that connected me with networking and meeting other folks and other people. So people who, my age, who are where I want to be at, and or folks who are older than me, who that's where I'm trying to get to, the career where they're at. And so if you're struggling in school or struggling in any area of your life, so maybe you're someone who have a learning disability, who's having a hard time finding a job, getting into a grad program or college, or just trying to get a job, but you're struggling, right? Maybe you're struggling trying to take a test to help you get that job. Maybe you're struggling to get a certificate or a vocational degree or anything. Whatever you do, you need to make sure you utilize resources, so then you're able to be connected to the right person to get help. And so networking is really just you using your voice to reach out for help. If you are struggling navigating life with just a learning disability or anything else, you need to reach out for help. I am not where I'm at right now today in my career or in my life if it wasn't for me reaching out for help. If I did not reach out for help or assistance or ask for feedback, even though it might be like hard feedback or feedback I didn't want to hear, if I did not reach out for help, I would not be where I'm at today. Sometimes we are very prideful and very like, I don't like to ask for help, because if I ask for help, people are going to judge me. People are going to say this about me. But no, in college, I stopped that right away. I said, especially when I transferred to UC San Diego. I said, I'm in a class with 200 folks and I'm failing every test. I was on academic disqualification at the end of my first year at UC San Diego. Okay, and I'm like, so if I don't get it together, I won't be back here, and I won't be getting nobody's bachelor's degree. I was terrified, and I was like, I thought I was utilizing my resources. I was utilizing my resources my first year at UC San Diego, but I wasn't asking for help like I should have been doing. So I asked for help that summer. I forgot what I did. I did a whole lot. I did a lot of crying. I did a lot of on my knees. I asked for help to God. Number one, I asked God to help me, because I said, oh, this is it. I would not be going to college. I would not be getting a degree. I thought it was over. I asked God for help, number one, but then I asked Department of Rehabilitation, which I also got assistance in when I was in college. I asked them to help me. I started to ask for help. Like I literally told people, like, I'm failing. I need help. I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do. This is the situation. When I start asking for help, in addition to utilizing my resources, in addition to networking with people, my peers, and with other folks, that's when I started to see a real change. Like in my academics, in my motivation, in my drive, and just everything. It did a complete 180 or 680, as I say, child, I don't know. I feel like there's so many people who are struggling, who have a learning disability, and they feel so stuck. And I really want to encourage you all, because this video is for y'all. This video for folks who have a learning disability, who feel like giving up. Let me tell you, I have been there. Like I just said, like watch my video where I talk about my story when it comes to having a learning disability. I almost didn't graduate UC San Diego. I almost got kicked out my first year, y'all, because I was on academic disqualification. Okay, this video is for anybody who is wanting to give up because they have a disability, but I'm here to tell you all, you cannot, giving up, you can't do it. Because if I gave up every time things got hard, or every time I was faced with a challenge, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. I would not be where I'm at if I was prideful and did not ask for help. Anything is possible when you work hard and you don't give up. Giving up is saying, hey, I'm just gonna give up, nothing's gonna work out. No, but in life, things are hard. Nothing comes easy, but I know how hard it is to navigate school and life with a disability and just feeling different. But I want to encourage you, if I can do it, you can do it. So my advice to anyone who have a learning disability, if you are in middle school, high school, college, grad school, you're not even in college or grad school, maybe you're 30 plus with a learning disability, number one advice and encouragement to you all is to not give up, to always keep pushing forward. It's hard. I have moments where I still am like, I don't understand a lot of things. It takes me a while to read information. I'm like, I'll be reading things and I'm like, it's not processing. This is not processing. So I'll read it 3 or 4 times until I understand it. And to this day, my learning style is ingrained in everything that I do. At work, it still takes me a while to understand information and different things like that. So I put in overtime until I get it. Nothing is going to stop me to getting to where I want to be. So I want to encourage y'all, if you have a disability, that makes you that you're uniquely different. Nothing is wrong with you. You just learn differently compared to everybody else. And that is my encouragement to y'all. You are uniquely different. You have a uniquely different learning style compared to other people, but that doesn't mean you're a failure. That doesn't mean you can't be successful. That doesn't mean you're not good enough or not capable enough than someone who don't have a disability. You are capable, you can do it, and you can be successful. You can be successful. You can be successful in school. You can be successful if you want to be a business owner or entrepreneur or anything else that you want to be. That's my encouragement to you all, that you can do it, but you can't give up. All right, y'all, I hope sharing my experience with navigating my life with a learning disability is an encouragement and helpful to you in your journey. And I hope the advice that I give is advice that is useful and beneficial to you all. I really hope you all can maybe apply some of the things that I mentioned in this video to your life so that you're able to, you know, really improve, you know, navigating your life with a disability. So whatever that looks like, but I hope you all take in consideration some of the advice and just me sharing my personal journey with you all and apply it to your life so you are able to continue to keep going and not give up. I hope you all enjoy this video. Love you all, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.